And India have started this series with a bang. They have won the first ODI by 8 wickets, a big margin. Kuldeep Yadav, sorry, Arshdeep Singh and Sai Sudarshan, Shreyas Iyer are the stars of this show. Shubhayan, welcome to the show. Shubhayan is joining me. He's been a regular at Ref Sports. How are you feeling about this match and this series?
This is what happens
Wait a
when
minute.
you
Wait a
play.
minute. You started the pre-show by saying that this is an absolutely unnecessary. No one wants to watch this.
I'll start the post show with the same thing. This is what happens when you play irrelevant ODI series just a few weeks after the ODI World Cup. ODI format is not relevant at the moment at all, and it showed the in the way South African players batted. Not to take away anything from Arshdeep and Avesh Khan, both of them bowled brilliantly, shared 9 wickets among them. But ultimately, this ODI series, what do you take away from this match? Will Arshdeep Singh's form or Avesh Khan's form remain the same after 4 years when the next World Cup comes? It won't. So it is just silly to play ODI cricket right now. Gargi is somewhat
Ishan,
frozen, I guess.
am
Oh,
I?
she's back. Yeah. No, no,
Okay,
you were
maybe I
you
was.
were for a couple of seconds, but yeah.
Okay, okay. Ishan, your thoughts about this series? India have started with a bang, but then we were talking about how ODI series right now is irrelevant at this point.
Yes. Yes, I mean, it's a fair point to make. It's obviously not as relevant at the moment because even, consumer interaction towards ODI cricket is not as much. So obviously it's not relevant in that sense. But obviously the 50 over World Cup is obviously, the biggest and largest event that normally takes place. So it's, a lot of preparation for that will actually start from this day itself, from this series itself. So, players for the next World Cup will be selected from this series and the series that will take place after this as well. So it is relevant in that sense, but however, the consumer interaction towards the sport when it comes to the 50 over World Cup, it's not as much anymore. But at the same time, I feel the players can't be demotivated, and they have to still perform at the very best, whether it's T20, whether it's Test match cricket, or whether it's the 50 over format as well.
I mean, yes, the players have to perform because they have to make their place in the team
Yes.
going forward. But what do you even take away from this series, right? This match,
Yeah.
Arshdeep Singh, of course, came in with all guns blazing, 5 wickets. He has done
Yes.
this before. He has been that X factor for Team India. But ODI, right now, Arshdeep Singh in ODI, is it
Hmm.
something you see going forward?
Absolutely. I think he can be a spearhead bowler for the Indian team, and he's obviously getting better with time. And we've been looking to find that left armour seamer for the Indian team since a long time. I think after Zahir Khan, we've been looking for that left arm seamer, and a lot of talk was about Arshdeep Singh. Initially, there was a lot of questions whether he's inexperienced or whether he's just conceding too many runs at the end, at the end of the overs. So overall, I think he's getting better as a bowler, and I think if he continues to groom himself, he's only going to become an asset for the Indian team, which I feel he'll be the potential, spearhead bowler in this Indian lineup.
Shubhan?
But at the same time, this is the difference between ODI and T20I format, right? In ODI format, you can bowl bad deliveries and get away with it because the batters may look to leave or may look to defend a particular bad ball. But in T20 cricket, you don't have that leverage of bowling bad deliveries, which Arshdeep has faced in the recent past in the T20 format, be it in domestic Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy or in the last T20I series. He was hammered, and that is the biggest difference between ODI and T20 format. And that's what I said. He has bowled brilliantly. Let's not take away anything from him in this match. But over the course of 4 years, lot will change. Jasprit Bumrah will return. Your senior bowlers will return in the mix. Mohammad Siraj will return. So and in USA and West Indies T20 format, it will be different ball game altogether because you may play only two pacers with Hardik Pandya also in the mix. So where does that keep Arshdeep Singh in the scheme of things when it comes to the playing 11? So uh, in my opinion, this series was not needed, but I understand due to the finances for the cricket South Africa, this series is benefiting a lot. There was a packed out crowd today, so in terms of that, it is good for cricket South Africa. But as Ishan said, the general viewers who would want to watch an ODI cricket, there's not much buzz, especially after that defeat in that ODI World Cup final.
Shubhayan, but you mentioned Arshdeep Singh and Mohammad Siraj and the more senior players returning. But don't you think the Indian team would want to invest in a left-arm seamer as well? Because going into
They would, of course. That's why Arshdeep is there. But if a Mohammad Siraj and Jasprit Bumrah are there, and you can play only three pacers in US and West Indies, then you can't drop a Siraj or a Bumrah to play a left arm pacer, right? So that is what I'm saying. You can't play
yeah,
Arshdeep Singh ahead of Bumrah and Siraj. So that is what I'm saying. I'm saying if the World Cup was in England or in New Zealand or Australia where the seamers get extra assistance, then you might have the option of playing an extra seamer. But in West Indies, especially, I don't think you will have that leverage of playing an extra pacer, and that's why Arshdeep's case I was making.
fair.
Yep, and we have a comment from one of our viewers. I'm going to direct it to you too.
Mhm.
Bikram Datta is asking, shouldn't Test and ODI sides be considered together? Technical aspects are more or less the same. Shubhayan.
I think so, but you can say that. See, like Shreyas Iyer's knock in today's game 50, he will now link up with the Test team. It will give him a huge confidence boost ahead of the Test series. Both are different ball game altogether. You will have a red ball which will seam around, which will bounce around in Test cricket, and there will be a lot more of short delivery tactics against Shreyas Iyer in the Test format. But this match will give him a lot of confidence in terms of knowing the conditions, knowing how the pitch behaves. He was there in the last tour as well when India visited South Africa and we lost the ODI series there. But it might. But again, red ball and white ball cricket is completely different. There are multi-format players. There are all format players in this team. Rohit, Virat have done it for more than a decade, but at the same time you will have to pick and choose a few players who can be your all format guns, and not everyone, not your entire 16 member or 15 member squad can be mixed up together for test and ODIs. That's the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair
Ishan.
point, Gagi, because both these formats require you to first get settled in, and both these formats are longer, obviously. But a test match game is completely different at the same time because it takes over 5 days, and it's a different test altogether. And the Indian team has so much quality, Gagi, that I feel that it can invest in having specific players for each format. We have that sort of leverage, and I think we should make the best use out of it. A lot of teams don't have that sort of leverage, and hence they have to compensate by getting players who have to play all three formats. But the Indian team has that leverage where they can invest in players for each particular format. So obviously I think going ahead, that should be the motive of investing in players for each format because we just have that leverage.
Yep, and
For example, Ruturaj Gaikwad and Sai Sudarshan went all out from the word go in the power play in the first 10 overs. Although the match finished in 16.4 overs, but they went hard against the new ball. In Test cricket, it won't be the same case. They will have to leave out deliveries. They will have to be patient for their shots to come, and that is the one of the biggest difference. And even in the middle order, when Shreyas Iyer plays in the middle order, you will have a Keshav Maharaj or a Kamlesh Shamsi bowling to you with the older ball, which is turning. Day three conditions are different, day four conditions are different. So the batters will also have to change the way they bat in test format. So it's completely different. I can understand what he's asking with ODI and test cricket being similar formats. You need patience, you need to grind out during the middle overs, but completely different format in my opinion.
Absolutely.
yeah, and talking about Avesh Khan, he picked up 4 wickets, bowling with an economy of 3.38, three maiden overs. Some Before this, Avesh Khan had somewhat of an unimpressive IPL as well as when he had India outings as well. He was very unimpressive. But now going forward, I know you shouldn't judge by a single match, but going forward, do you still see potential in Avesh Khan?
Yes, obviously, I think Avish Khan is doing wonders as well. But the Indian bowling lineup is so packed at the moment because everybody else is really performing to their best capabilities, whether it's Bumrah, Siraj, Mohammad Shami as well. So Avish Khan, I feel, has a long way to go, but he's obviously getting better with time. And I think if he continues to perform like this, he'll obviously be a big candidate in the future. But at the moment, there's a lot of competition in this bowling lineup, and it's always been the batters who've always taken the spotlight. But over the years, obviously, the Indian bowlers have really outclassed themselves and have really have expressed themselves just beautifully. So for someone like Avesh Khan to come in at the moment is difficult, but obviously if he continues to get better, he's definitely going to be a part of this team.
Yes, and going back to
One point around Avish when he was bowling for Delhi Capitals with the likes of Rabada and Anrik Nokia. Both of them are like 148, 150 clicks per delivery, and Avish was really competing with the two in terms of pace, in terms of matching. He was clocking 145 regularly, but in this match, I saw him bowl at around 132, 135. I know he's coming from an injury, a long layoff, but still losing 10 kilometers is a huge for a pace bowler. And Avesh, when he broke into the scene, his pace, his factor, his ability to move the ball away and bring the ball in with high quality pace, that was the X factor of Avesh Khan. But I think if he's bowling at 135, then there are many bowlers around the Indian team who are in and around the scheme of things who can bowl at 135 with more skill, more consistency in and around the line. So Avesh will have huge competition if he's bowling at 135 going forward.
And yes, you're right. And I think Shubhayan, we can also say that in South Africa, you would want him to bowl 140 and above because these pitches are fast, they generate good bounce. So that's disappointing to see. So I completely agree with Shubhayan here because there are a lot of bowlers who can bowl at that 130, 135 range. But if you have the capability to bowl at 145 and above, then you should make the best use of it and bowl at 145 and above because a lot of bowlers can't do that. So it's about making the best use of your abilities. And if he's not doing that, then he's obviously faltering there.
yes, and we have another comment actually. Considering Shreyas was in good nick in World Cup, wasn't it justified to give Sanju a go today? Did they not give Sanju?
Sanju was there in the playing 11, but did
Okay,
not did
I
not.
thought
Uh,
maybe they should have sent him up the order or something.
Then
Just
again,
a
you play with the kind of role you have talked about with Sanju Samson about the kind of role he will be playing in ODI cricket or in this particular series. If you are listing him at number six, you would have said him about the finishing role, but to suddenly promote him at number three or number four is doesn't make any sense. So stick with the lineup. It's the thing. But if Rohit Sharma scores a 264, number four, number five batters don't get a chance to bat.
Yeah.
So that is what is sports is all about. One day you get to bat. One day you will have the opportunity to make your mark. If you grab it, then good. If you don't, then
Yeah.
move on.
I mean, yes, that's true. Because Sanju Samson, is a class batsman, and we've seen him perform so often in the IPL. But however, in the Indian team, he's not performed at that level. He has performed. Don't get me wrong. He has performed for the Indian team as well, but he hasn't made those standout performances, which will help in keeping you on the side. So I think he's missed out over there. And another thing is that I think there's just too much competition in that batting lineup. So unfortunately, he's just playing cricket at the wrong time because he's a class batsman. He's got all the shots in the book, but he's just playing at the wrong time with so many batters giving him a lot of competition.
Yep, and going back to the second innings, India did not have a lot of runs to chase, but then Sai Sudarshan, the debutant, coming in, there's always pressure when you're debuting in your debut match, and then scoring a 55 with a strike rate of 127. Talk about Sai Sudarshan.
Yeah, I think he
No,
was
some of
great.
the drives he was playing off. Yes, go ahead, Ishan. Yes.
Okay, thank you. I thought he was great. He didn't seem like he was playing his first match, and like Shubhayan mentioned, some of the drives are just so elegant. So he seemed really confident, and he's obviously one for the future again because he's someone who you could groom, and you could see that he's really hungry to perform. So I think he's going to get better as well with time. And he's an extremely classy left-hander. So you want someone like that in your squad who can add that sort of balance going into the future as well. You want your lefties, you want your right-handers as well. So it's a good mix. So I think he should be groomed further, and he's only going to get better.
Shubhana.
More competition for the in the for that opening slot.
Yeah.
making a mark, nine boundaries, five of them were absolute classy cover drives and square drives, and he has done his hard work in the domestic circuit. Played in the county season this year as well. Scored runs in bundles there. So a good talent, a very good talent, and now it's all about strengthening your bench, and after Shubman Gill, Yashasvi Jaiswal, I think these two are your primary openers. If keeping Rohit Sharma out, Shubman and Yashasvi are your primary openers, and Ruturaj is not helping himself with scores like five or single digit scores, or he needs to score big, especially in ODI format. It
Yes.
was not a challenging total. 117 is like a cakewalk, but had he remained unbeaten like a Sai Sudarshan, then it would have made a huge difference for his claim as well. So, unfortunate for Ruturaj, got a good delivery by Vian Molder. But for Sai Sudarshan, I think it's a dream debut. He will remember it, he will cherish it forever. 55 unbeaten, 43 deliveries, 9 boundaries, made a mark. So let's see what happens in the future, but a good start for Sai Sudarshan.
Yeah, and looking at Sai Sudarshan's performance today, we were talking about pressure. IPL really does help, letting these youngsters step up in international matches, doesn't it, Ishan?
Yes, absolutely. Because the IPL, you're playing with all the international stars. You're playing at a big stage. There's a massive crowd that comes to see you. So obviously, when you're in that sort of situation, you're automatically already soaking in pressure. And a lot of these cricketers, start playing IPL at a very young age. So when you're playing at a young age, you automatically, get used to the conditions much faster. Whether it's getting used to the crowd, or handling pressure. Because in the IPL, you're under pressure, at a lot of times, because there's such tense match situations that happen so often. So obviously the IPL really helps in setting you up. Having said that, it's the IPL and international cricket, it's still a big leap, because at times in the IPL you might find a couple of players not living up to expectations, where someone like a possible batter could take advantage of that situation, or a possible bowler could take advantage of that situation. So obviously the international stage is a big leap, but the IPL definitely sets you up.
Yep, and another half century we had from Shreyas Iyer, who's making a comeback. And, the Indian management has really trusted Shreyas Iyer throughout that injury as well, having him in the World Cup squad after 7 months of not playing any sort of cricket. Does this further cement his place, in the Indian squad? Performances like these. Shubhan.
I think there's no doubt around Shreyas Iyer, what he has done. Of course, there has been a lot of questions around his capabilities to play short deliveries, spicy, like really quick short deliveries. But Shreyas Iyer has somewhat answered his critics, silenced his critics. Was monumental in India's World Cup run as well. He was playing some great knocks at number four, and at a higher strike rate. The intent which he produced at number four, that allowed the likes of Virat Kohli to anchor the innings. That allowed KL Rahul to come and take his time. So at number four, Shreyas Iyer with the kind of intent, and today also 45 deliveries, 52 runs. Strike rate of 115, six boundaries. Shreyas Iyer is an attacking stroke maker. When he made his debut in the Kanpur Test match, I remember he played in a similar fashion. He's not afraid to play his strokes. He might not look uh, extremely good in the eyes, but he's an effective batsman. He knows how to drill. His mental fortitude is something which stands apart. Many coaches from his state team, from his IPL teams, from the Indian national team as well, have talked about his mental strength. And Shreyas Iyer, like when he's against the wall, when his back is against the wall, he will come and give you those runs and silence your critics. He did that in the Asia Cup. He did that in the World Cup, and now he continues to do that. And I'm pretty sure when he gets his chance uh, in the South Africa Test series, there will be challenges. The likes of, I don't know whether Ngidi will play or not. Looks like he won't. I don't know whether Rabada will play or not. He has an heel injury. But despite that, they will have some good quick bowlers. Gerald Coetzee, we have Nagre Burger. They are more than capable of bowling those quick short deliveries. So that will be a challenge for Shreyas Iyer. But let's see how he fares up. But right now he's doing everything he can do to cement. He has already cemented his place. Now it's all about continuing that run of form.
Ishan.
Yes, I mean, I think everything has been mentioned already. He's already cemented his place and he's worked on his weaknesses. He's worked on the short ball, which shows his character. You're someone who wants to play for India. He's someone who wants to do well and he's done well, like, Shubhan has mentioned. So it's only a matter of time when he actually, completely goes on to explore and become the batsman that he's supposed to be, because I think he's still not playing at his 100% in potential. I think he can do a lot more. And with time, I think he's going to reach there. So I think Shreyas Iyer is a fighter, and the Indian team needs people like this, Gagi. You need people who, even after an injury, can come back and set the tone and start performing. A lot of people can't do that. A lot of people, might get faltered or under pressure. After they come back from from an injury, they might not perform to their best under pressure. But Shreyas Iyer is someone who's kept that all behind him, and he's decided to perform, and he's doing really well.
Yep, and I think that wraps up our conversation. We've covered all points. And to everyone who's watching, stay tuned to Ref Sports. We'll be back for the second ODI as well. Thank you, Shubhayan and Ishan, for joining.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.